Now that's a sound you've probably heard before, whether it being your own input or if you have been unfortunate enough to make a bad jumping decision. I remember when I first picked up this game, the air was something that was very confusing as a concept. Now at the absolute lowest level, jumping can be pretty good, but as you start to improve, you start to realize that jumping may not be as good as it seems. Hey, what's up guys? We are back today with another episode in the Casuals Guide series. This time it is the Casuals Guide to Platinum ranks in Street Fighter 6. Now every time I make a Casuals Guide video, my end goal is always to simplify an experience. Now that simplification may come through the documenting of a process or sometimes as an experience so that you guys can see the things that I'm focusing on while I'm still learning other areas of the game. So for those of you who don't know, I'm actually Kimberly main in this game, but to make a long story short, I got to master rank and I couldn't stop losing, so I decided to go back to character select and start over on ranked in order to learn better fundamentals. Now since then I've bounced around on quite a few characters, most of which have been on the channel here and there, but this particular video we're going to be burning through platinum ranks on Akuma. He's currently the only character that I'm actively playing that's this low in rank. With that being said, let me know in the comments below if you guys want me to make something like this for more than just this rank. Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, I think that the key to getting through platinum ranks is going to be anti-airs. So I thought of an extremely simple way to test this theory that you're currently watching, which was essentially to compress a 3-hour long live stream into every instance where my opponent jumped. And the idea here is that you just keep a running tally of how many times you stop jump versus how many times you let it through. Now, we're going to talk numbers at the end of this video, but first, I wanted to discuss why I think that anti-airs are the key to this particular rank. So why did I choose Platinum? I think that any rank above Platinum, it should be a given that your anti-airs should be on point. Now, not saying that they always are, but they should be. Now you may be asking, if it's such an integral part of the game later down the line, why wait so long to focus on it as a skill? My answer to that is simply because, generally speaking, before this rank, your understanding of your character is still being developed. So you should be taking this time to get acquainted with your character's buttons and focusing on sequences that you're learning rather than focusing on what your opponent is doing. Now I understand that sounds kind of backwards, so if you guys want me to explain that a little bit better in a different video, leave it in the comments below. Now Platinum is the middle ground of the ranks, which means that it's kind of a melding pot of players who are about to be good and players that still don't really know what's going on. It seems like most of the time players in this rank have taken a noticeable step up in their combos from previous ranks. And what's the simplest combo starter that gives the most damage? If you said jump in, then you'd be correct. And because of this, most of the players in this rank also happen to jump a lot because it's the best way to get into their combo, which is all that they're really focusing on. Speaking of focus, if you've been focusing on the matches going on, you'll see that I'm not really doing too hot. Unfortunately for me, my understanding of Akuma is still extremely elementary, and so I'm really only looking for one opening. But I do think it is pretty funny to watch me get jumped in on probably 200 times in this video. What makes it even funnier is that I actually practice anti-airs with this character before I go into ranked, so I really should be paying more attention to this kind of stuff, but I guess I just wasn't on point this day. If you're a newer player checking out this video, here's going to be one of the important takeaways from it. Off days happen, they happen for everybody, nobody is immune to them. Just take a break, try to figure out what you're losing to, why you're losing, and go back into it. Try your best to focus on correcting whatever it is that was getting you killed before and come back the next day fresher, I guess. Moving on, another important lesson that you should be trying to learn during this set of ranks is jump spacing. Spacing in general, but specifically for the purposes of this video, we're going to be sticking to jump spacing alone. Now jump spacing is important because if you time a jump well, you might be able to bait out a Shoryuken and actually get a full punish. Now, that's kind of an advanced technique, and even though my main character is in Master Rank, it's still kind of hard to do. Although, it's easier on Kimberly because of her elbow drop, so I don't know if it's a fair comparison. Another instance where spacing in the air is going to be important is during the times that you choose to neutral jump. Neutral jumps largely get overlooked in this ranks, but they're pretty powerful because they allow you to avoid a lot of the threats on the ground while still maintaining your current spacing. I currently think one of the best places to utilize a neutral jump is when your opponent is in the corner. Maybe they're scared down backing, or maybe they're spamming jump back trying to catch your approach. Now, while your opponent is in the corner, you want to be sitting there kind of just dancing outside of their range, and if you did this correctly, you should be in range to punish any button that they press while also remaining outside of their range so that whatever attack they press won't hurt you. Now, if you toss out a neutral jump in place of one of the walk forwards, you might be able to bait out a DP from your opponent, in which case you will get a full punish and maintain your corner pressure. As with every option you have in this game, neutral jump is not guaranteed in this situation, but it's one of your options to press, so you can try it out, play around with it, see how it works, see if it does work, and adjust your gameplay accordingly. Although if you're watching any of the footage, you can see that neutral jump is working pretty fucking well on my platinum rank Akuma over here. Despite today's lackluster performance in my anti-air game, I do actually practice these pretty much every day before I actually hop into ranked. Basically, as soon as I hit training mode, I immediately hop into the anti-air preset in the menu. I start out on player 1 side, I'll kind of sit still until I can anti-air 5 times in a row, and then I'll usually reset after every single jump so that the spacing is always the same. But then after that, I'll try to walk around a little bit more, try to train my reaction to jumping in neutral, and then I'm still trying to get that 5 times in a row. After that, I'll switch it to player 2 side and switch back to combo practice after I repeat the same process. Sorry about the buggy audio here, I'm not really sure what's going on with this, but my stream will buffer sometimes, and when I download the stream afterwards to get the clips from it, it kind of downloads with buggy audio. Although I've recently been tweaking a lot of streaming setups, trying to figure out some fixes for this, so if you guys have any tips or tricks or anything kind of insight wise, definitely let me know about that in the comments below, because that's not something that I'm super knowledgeable about. Speaking of things that you guys should let me know about some Akuma combos that you guys want to see. I think this character has really cool combos, but I honestly know nothing about this character's combo routing or anything yet, so I would greatly like to learn that. I also really want to learn Raging Demon setups. I'm not super adept at any of that kind of stuff yet, so I think it's really funny to hit. I think it's really interesting super to look at, so definitely let me know about all of that shit down below. Enough with my incessant yapping. So, what you guys have been waiting for, the totals at the end of this video. In total, there were 377 jumps made over the course of this video. Those 377 jumps were split over 16 sets. It had a couple of varying game counts, so I just left it at the sets. But out of these 377 jumps, I successfully negated 83 of them, which is equivalent to stopping 22% of the jumps that were made over the course of my ranked session. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean that you can get away with having bad anti-airs, or does this mean that this is not as useful of a skill? I don't think so, because I grossly oversimplified this experiment for both time constraints and for dramatic effect. This means that I've used almost every jump in these matches, including ones that were both spaced out to bait DP, as well as ones that didn't really give them much of offensive pressure. Now, the reason that I decided to do it this way is because you kind of always have some type of offensive option when you're playing. You can drive rush to maintain pressure, you can do a jump of your own, you can even hopefully realize that the DP won't work and you can try it grounded normal depending on the spacing. Anyway, be sure to leave any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns down in the comments below. Hit like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you would like to see more. We've recently jumped up to 46 subs, so thank you to all the new people for joining us, and that's put us extremely close to our 50 sub goal that we set at the start of the year. So, with all that being said though, that's all I've got for this one, so I'll see you guys next time. Later.